So yesterday we took notes over point slope form. So basically if you're given a point on a line, you can substitute in the y value and the x value and the slope, and you can write the equation for the line in this way. And we talked about how you can even write an equation in point slope form if you're given 2 points. Because if you have 2 points on the line, you can use the slope formula to find the slope and then just use one of the points to substitute in the x and y. So what I want to look at today is how can you take an equation from point slope form to slope-intercept form. So you have this foldable Miss Emberly gave you, and I want you to glue it into your notebook. So you can pause the video and glue it in now, or you can glue it in at the end. But we're going to look at how do you take any equation and solve for y. And when you solve for y, you're putting it in a different form. You're making the equation look different. So in your notes it says, highlight the variable you're solving for, which in this case would be y. And you have highlighters near you, so you can actually highlight that. I meant for that to be a highlighter. Sorry. And then use the distributive property if necessary to get rid of any parentheses. Add or subtract to move all of the terms to the other side, and use multiplication or division to get rid of the coefficient. So let's now look inside and look at some equations that are written in point slope form and change them to be solved for y. In other words, we want them to look like slope-intercept form. So this is in point slope form. You have y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. So I'm going to change this to look like slope-intercept. So slope-intercept, I'm just going to write this over to the side, is when you have y equals mx plus b. We've seen this formula before when we were talking about slope, and we said that whatever number is with the x is our slope. If it's a positive number, we have a positive line. If it's negative, we have a negative slope. So we want to change this point slope form to look like this. This is slope-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. And this is the way that you're most often going to see the equation, like a linear equation for a line. But you need to know how to take it from one to the other. So first we're going to distribute, because that's what the notes say. So there's nothing to distribute on this side. I'm just going to copy this down exactly the way it is. On the other side, please excuse the bell sound. So now we're going to distribute. 4 times x, 4 times negative 2. Remember the sign in front goes with that number. So this is 4x minus 8. And now I'm trying to solve for y. So whatever is with the y, I need to undo that so everything's on one side and the y is by itself. So I am subtracting 3, so I need to add 3 to both sides. So now I have y all by itself on this side equals 4x. And if I have negative 8 plus 3, that should be negative 5 minus 5. So now you have taken an equation written in point slope form and you have rearranged it, so now it's in slope-intercept form. So what does this mean? This means that now that it's in slope-intercept form, I know the slope is 4. I know that the line is moving in a positive direction because it's positive 4. I can judge something about the steepness of a line because it's 4 and it's not a half. And I know that it's going to cross the y-axis at negative 5. Negative 5 is the y-intercept. So I can graph this line. I have the slope. I have all the information I need to graph this line. So I want you to pause the video. Not right now. Hold on. Don't pause the video yet. Once you have this down, there's another example of an equation written in point slope form here. So at this point, I want you to pause the video and I want you to solve this in terms of y. Distribute -8. Once you get that, you're going to have to subtract that 2 over and make the equation from point-slope form to slope-intercept. Pause the video and do that now. Okay, and so this is what you should have as your slope-intercept form equation. Y equals -8 plus 6. All the steps are there, and we have a -8 times x, -8x, and a -8 times a -1 is going to be +8. When you subtract 2, it's going to be +6. So now that you have those in your notes, you're going to do an activity with a partner. It's going to be point-slope form. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So you'll be given this form. You'll be given the slope and the point, and you need to be able to write it in point-slope form and also slope-intercept form, but they're matching cards. So some of the cards are written in point-slope form, some of the cards are written in slope-intercept form, and you're going to be matching the ones that go with each slope and point on the side. So you can ask Miss Hemperly for the form and the cards now and decide who you're going to work with. Thanks.